Hello everybody, my name is Natalia Leigh and I'm the author of the young adult novels Highborn and Way of Spears. Today I am collaborating with Kaila Walker from This is Kaila to bring you a self-care routine for writers. Kaila offers writing and travel advice and motivates her audience to follow their dreams. Her channel and her version of this video will be linked down below, so make sure to check those out when you are finished with this video. Alright, without further ado, let's just dive right into this. So as writers, it can be extremely easy to get stressed out, especially if you are working on a difficult manuscript. I have experienced quite a lot of stress pertaining to Song of the Dryad as I have been working on it over these past, I think, 16 months now. And I definitely know firsthand that once writers, or personally for myself, once I get to a certain stress level with my manuscript, I can no longer produce quality work because of how overwhelmed and frustrated I feel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you different methods I use when I am feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, and stressed out, and how I use these methods to kind of relax. Well, not only to relax, but also to kind of re-inspire myself and become reinvigorated to work on my novel, which right now is Song of the Dryad. The first thing that I like to do after a long day of either working or writing is to make myself a hot cup of tea and relax. Now this for you might be tea, it might be cocoa, it might be coffee, but I just like to make a nice warm drink and then sit down and relax. Now, my favorite tea right now is something called Wild Child tea. Now, I get this from the natural grocers in my area. Not only is it beautiful, but it tastes so good. So if you are a tea lover, I highly recommend trying this one out. Now, after I make my cup of tea, I typically like to just sit down and enjoy it. Sometimes that means I sit down and I read, or I sit down and I watch, a new YouTube video that came out that day by one of my favorite content creators. Whatever that is for me, I try to take a step away from my work. So it's not like I'm gonna make myself a cup of tea and then go right back to the manuscript that's stressing me out. So I make this tea and I go sit down and I do something completely different that helps to not only distract my mind, but relax my writing muscles as well. Because, just like any other part of your body that you might want to work out and work on, you have to work on it a bit and then you have to rest and relax and let your body heal. And for me, my writing muscles are exactly the same way. If I continue pushing and pushing and pushing, I will eventually get to a breaking point where I just cannot write quality work anymore. So when I have my cup of tea and I'm sitting down, it is just a time for me to completely relax and decompress from whatever it is that I've been working on. All right, next up is actually going to be just moving your body. And for me, I really enjoy yoga. Yoga is one of my favorite ways not only to relax my body, but to relax my mind as well. I also enjoy exercising. It's a bit cold out right now in Colorado, so I definitely haven't been hiking or riding my mountain bike, but I do enjoy to lift weights. I enjoy doing some minor cardio. I used to love running, but actually the impact was just way too hard on my body and my spine and my knees, so I don't run anymore. But the purpose of this is to get your body moving, get those endorphins flowing, sweat out some of the toxins that your body has been holding on to and storing up. And this will help so much. I really like to do, a yoga flow or lift some weights and then go hop in the shower at the end of a long day. And it helps me feel so much clearer in my mind. Like, not only do I feel strong and healthy, but my mind feels relaxed as well. And it's definitely a mood booster because of all of those endorphins. So whatever, exercise means to you, whether that is taking your dog on a walk or, exercising your mind with some meditation or some, thought practices, whatever exercise is to you, I highly recommend that you try to incorporate it into your writing routine. If you have a routine to sit down 3 days a week or to sit down 5 days a week and work on your manuscript, then try to include some exercise in there as well. Even if it's like setting yourself a timer so that every 30 minutes or every hour that you've been writing, that timer goes off and you get up and you do some stretches, or you walk around the house, or you take your dog out in the backyard and play fetch for a while. Whatever it is, I recommend that you get your body moving, get those endorphins flowing, and allow yourself to kind of relax your mind and pull it away from the manuscript that is stressing you out and frustrating you. Number 3, the third thing that I like to do if I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed out by my manuscript is to watch movies. Now, I really enjoy watching movies just in general. It's something that I love, but I also love watching movies that really make me think and can get my ideas churning for my own fiction works. So you'll see here that I'm pulling out Hunger Games, and this is definitely one of my favorite movies. I don't like a whole lot of book to movie adaptations, but I personally love how the Hunger Games movies were adapted from the novels. I think they are just so good, and I absolutely love them. I watch these over and over. But, you know, sitting down and watching, you know, a movie such as Hunger Games, or for me, I really enjoy like animated Disney movies, whether that is, you know, Brave, I really love, or Frozen, or Tangled, you know, whatever the movie is. Not only am I sitting down and enjoying the entertainment value in the movie, but sometimes I will also keep like a little journal next to me while I'm watching a movie, because I always get ideas when I watch movies. Like, whether it's a line of dialogue that really sticks out to me, or, you know, it's a character behavior that reminds me of one of my characters and I want to make sure to tighten up their motivations in the scene that I'm thinking about. Like, whatever it is, whatever these ideas are that are coming to me, I like to jot them down while I am watching a movie, because it's a great way not only to relax and just enjoy hanging out and watching a movie, but it can absolutely inspire new and fresh ideas. And then when you have those new fresh ideas, you'll be a lot more excited to return to your manuscript versus having no new ideas and just returning to it and feeling stuck in the mud still, like still feeling like you're in a rut with that novel. And that's an entire different video that I can definitely talk about if you're interested in it, like talking about writer's block. What is it? Why do you get writer's block? How do you get out of writer's block? So if you want to know more about how I handle writer's block, please give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below so that I make sure to queue up that video so that you can see it. All right, the fourth thing I like to do when I'm feeling stressed out by my manuscript is to read. And this is similar to watching a movie for me. Reading definitely takes more focus and more attention, so I usually won't read if I'm feeling really worn out or tired by the end of the night. If that was the case, I would probably just make myself some tea and turn on a movie, but reading absolutely gives me ideas for my own novels. And not only that, but when I'm reading a really strong work of fiction, it inspires me to strengthen my own work. And it's kind of like reading for me is almost like practicing the craft, or it's like education and learning more about the craft, because there have been so many times where, you know, I've been working on a manuscript and then I go and I read and I see, oh, like I didn't use this hyphen correctly, or this em dash correctly, or oh, I didn't use this semicolon correctly. And I learn that through reading and seeing how things are actually used. You know, I have learned so much just from reading phenomenal books. And I've really taken everything that I've learned from those books and I'm able to incorporate it into my work now. So I highly recommend you pick up a book, let yourself relax, you know, let yourself dive into a world that is not your own. Sometimes we really need that, just to take a step away from the manuscript that is frustrating us and making us want to pull our hair out. So, you know, sometimes I'll even pick up a book that I have read multiple times before. For me, The Scorpio Races is one that I really love. So if that means picking up, you know, Harry Potter for you, or whatever other book that you have read time and time again, absolutely allow yourself to do that, and allow yourself to just like relax your mind and kind of let go while you are enjoying just the process of being enveloped in somebody else's world and story. Now, the fifth thing I will do when I am feeling frustrated or overwhelmed by my novel is to do what I like to call pre-writing. So if I'm frustrated or overwhelmed, it's probably because I'm having a problem in my manuscript that I don't really know how to fix. Because if we're really excited and we have all these ideas and we know where we're going with our story, typically we're not frustrated and overwhelmed by it. We're just excited to sit down and get all the words out. So when I'm feeling kind of stuck and frustrated, it's usually because there's a problem that I need to work out in my mind before I can incorporate it into the story. So pre-writing for me usually means outlining. I love outlining. I am such an outliner, and I could talk to you about outlining for hours on end. So I'll try to keep this brief. But I will either outline or I will go back to my outline that I already have, read through it, maybe tweak some things, move stuff around, add more details. I like to ask myself questions in the outlining phase. So I will literally put a bullet point that says, character X needs to do Y. Character X needs to do this thing. How do I get them here? Or how do I motivate them to do this thing? Like, if that's the question I'm having, like let's say there's a character and I need them to do this thing, but it doesn't make sense to their character arc, or it doesn't make sense to their personality, but I really need them to do that thing. That's a problem I have to work through, and I have to figure out what would motivate character X to do this thing that they don't want to do. And then I have to figure out not only what that thing will be, but then how to incorporate it into the novel. So that's when outlining really comes in handy for me. Or if you're not so much of an outliner, that's totally cool, and I would recommend finding some writing prompts. Find some character prompts, maybe some setting prompts, and also I would love to make a workbook, full of these types of writing prompts and helping you guys out when it comes to really building complex characters and complex worlds. So keep an eye out for that, because that's something I'm definitely interested in. And let me know, again, down below if that's something you'd like to see. But I definitely recommend writing prompts and just, allow yourself to write something that's not necessarily your manuscript. So when I was going to Colorado State University and getting a creative writing degree, in one of my creative writing classes, every day when we came in, we sat down and had an exercise. And I was working on fire tongue at the time. So I would have my fire tongue characters in my mind, and every time my professor gave us a writing prompt, I would write from the perspective of one of the characters from my novel Fire Tongue. And that was a great way to get to know them a hell of a lot better, because I wasn't even the one coming up with these prompts. They were being given to me, and then I was just throwing my characters full force into these scenarios that I never would have imagined before. So you can definitely find writing prompts online. There are writing prompt generators. You can follow Instagram accounts that give you writing prompts. There are so many places to find prompts that you can use for your characters, your world, your plot, whatever it is. You can find something that is suitable to you. And then one more thing, if you don't want to work with your world or your characters at all, pre-writing to you might mean just sitting down with a piece of paper and journaling, just getting your thoughts out, getting your emotions out, write about how you feel about your novel. Why is it frustrating you? Why do you feel overwhelmed? I definitely find that by putting all of this down on paper and then being able to hold it and read back over it is very therapeutic, because it's I'm kind of taking the stress and the frustration out of myself, and I'm putting it into that piece of writing, onto that piece of paper, or into a journal, or wherever you're putting it. And it helps me to see those frustrations clearly and then to be able to work through them much more successfully. So those are my 5 tactics that I use when I am feeling really frustrated by my manuscript. So please let me know if any of these tactics I use are similar to how you kind of de-stress and relax after your manuscript has just been driving you up the wall. And also, if you don't use any of these tactics, let me know down below what you do when you are feeling stressed out, because I'd love to, learn more avenues to channel my stress into something productive or into something healthy, which is why, I try to drink tea, exercise, read. That's me trying to take that stress and channel it somewhere that will result in something positive. So I am so very excited to see what Kaila has to say and what her kind of go-to de-stressing methods are. She hasn't told me yet what hers are going to be, so I get to kind of experience it for the first time along with you guys as well. So I'm very excited about that. Please make sure to go and give her channel some love. Like I said, it will all be linked below. As always, feel free to ask any questions in the comments. I love chatting with you guys there. Also, as always, please leave me any video requests. Like I mentioned earlier, I think I would really like to do one on like writer's block, my experience with writer's block, where I believe it stems from and how to move through it. So if that is something that interests you, make sure to let me know, because I have videos kind of planned out, but if I know that you're more interested in one topic, then I'd like to bump that up and post that sooner rather than later for you. So I hope you guys are having a phenomenal Friday. I had a really good time filming this video. I can't wait to hear what you think about my ideas, you know, my methods for de-stressing. Let me know if you try them out. Let me know if they work for you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!